I stood at the security turnstile on the 42nd floor, holding a bouquet of lilies I'd bought from the corner vendor, the kind Victoria used to love before she became too important for flowers. The guard behind the desk looked up from his monitor, eyebrows raised. "Can I help you, sir?" "I'm here to see Victoria Horrell," I said, gesturing toward the glass doors marked Authorized Personnel Only. "I'm her husband." The guard's face shifted, not confusion, something worse. Amusement. "Sir," he said slowly, leaning back in his chair, "I see the CEO's husband every day. He's right there. While you're here, don't forget to subscribe, hit the hype button, and support this channel with a like. And tell us below. Have you ever faced something like this?" He pointed past me toward the elevator bank. I turned. Connor Blake stepped out of the polished steel doors like he owned the building. Probably felt like he did. Navy blazer, open collar, that permanent smirk that made you want to rearrange his teeth. He walked straight past me without a glance, pushed through the glass doors, and kissed my wife under the sign that read CEO Victoria Hale. Not a quick peck. A real kiss. The kind that says ownership. Victoria's hand rested on his chest. She laughed at something he whispered. I stood there with my visitor badge and my wilting flowers. The guard cleared his throat. "So, you need me to call someone, or—" "No," I said. "I'm good." I turned and walked back to the elevator, dropping the lilies in the trash bin by the stairwell. The petals scattered across yesterday's coffee cups and crumpled memos. I decided right then I wouldn't cause a scene, wouldn't scream or throw things or demand explanations. I'd do something much worse. I'd pay attention. Victoria came home at 9 that night. I'd made dinner, grilled chicken, roasted vegetables, a bottle of the Malbec she claimed to prefer. I'd set the table with candles, the whole domestic fantasy. She dropped her purse on the counter and kicked off her heels. "You didn't have to do this," she said, not quite meeting my eyes. "I wanted to surprise you." "Well, I'm surprised." She poured herself wine without sitting down. "I'm exhausted, Michael. Board meeting ran late." "I stopped by your office today." Her hand paused halfway to her lips. "You did?" "Wanted to surprise you there, too. Brought flowers." "That's sweet." She set the glass down. "Why didn't you come up?" "Security wouldn't let me pass the lobby." "Oh." She relaxed slightly. "Yeah, they're strict about badges. Corporate policy." The guard said something funny, though. "What?" "He said he sees your husband every day." Victoria's face went carefully blank. "He probably meant he sees you when you pick me up sometimes." "I haven't picked you up in 8 months." "Then he's confused. Those guards see hundreds of people." She moved toward the bedroom, already done with the conversation. I sat alone at the table, watching the candles burn down to nothing, and started making mental notes. Note 1, she didn't even try hard with that lie. Note 2, she thought I was stupid enough to buy it. Note 3, I wasn't. She'd gone on her cruise 3 weeks ago. Girls' trip, she'd said. Jade Remington from PR had organized it. 5 days in the Caribbean, all expenses paid by some corporate retreat program. Except I'd seen the credit card statement, our joint account, the one we'd opened when we got married, back when she still worked in regional logistics, and I was the one with the steady income. She'd kept it active even after her promotion to CEO. Convenience, she'd claimed. I pulled up the statement on my laptop while she showered. Charges from Nassau, charges from a restaurant in Cozumel, charges from a boutique in Grand Cayman, all on days when she was supposedly on a company ship with a prepaid entertainment package. I cross-referenced the dates with the cruise line's public itinerary. Her company partnered with them. Easy enough to find. The timing didn't match. She'd taken a different ship, same cruise line, different route, a route that happened to be captained by Connor Blake. I found his staff photo on the company website. Same smirk, same blazer. Employee of the quarter, 3 times running. Customer service excellence. Translation, he was good at charming people. I closed the laptop when Victoria came out of the bathroom, wrapped in a towel. "You coming to bed?" she asked. "In a minute." She didn't wait. Just climbed under the covers and turned away from me, scrolling through her phone until the screen went dark. I stayed on the couch, thinking about flowers in a trash can and a guard who saw her husband every day. 2 days later, I tracked her flight home from what she'd called a conference in Atlanta. Public flight data. Completely legal. Completely accessible. She was on the same plane as Connor Blake. Same row, different seats. I drove to the airport and parked where I could see the arrivals gate. They came out separately. Smart. She walked toward baggage claim, phone pressed to her ear, looking every inch the busy executive. He headed toward ground transportation, carry-on slung over his shoulder. Then, by the rental car kiosks, they met. Not obviously, just a brief touch of hands, a smile. He leaned in, whispered something. She laughed and pushed his chest playfully. I walked up behind them. Rough turbulence in the air? I asked. Or just in the cabin? Victoria spun around, face draining of color. Connor's smirk didn't even falter. Can I help you, buddy? I'm Michael Horrell, Victoria's husband. Oh. He looked me up and down, unimpressed. Didn't realize she'd brought her assistant. Victoria grabbed his arm. Connor, don't. Your assistant, I repeated. That's creative. Look, man, I don't know what you think you saw. I saw my wife getting off a plane with another man after lying about where she was. I saw that same man greeting her like they're very familiar. I saw him at her office 2 weeks ago, behind doors marked authorized personnel only, acting like he owns the place. Connor stepped closer, trying to intimidate me with height and presence. Classic alpha routine. I didn't move. You should go home, he said quietly, before this gets embarrassing for you. Too late for that, I said. But thanks for the concern. I turned to Victoria. We'll talk at home. Then I walked away, leaving them standing by the rental kiosks, two people who suddenly realized they weren't as careful as they thought. She came home an hour after me. I'd had time to brew coffee and sit in the kitchen, waiting. The apartment felt different now, like a stage set, like something pretending to be a home. Victoria dropped her keys on the counter, still in her blazer and pencil skirt. CEO armor. She poured herself wine instead of coffee. So, she said, leaning against the counter, you want to do this now? Seems like a good time? Fine. She took a long drink. Yes, I've been seeing Connor for about 4 months. No tears, no apology, just stating facts. 4 months, I repeated. We met at a corporate partnership meeting. He's captain of the Celestial Dream. We work together regularly. And sleep together irregularly? Her jaw tightened. Don't be crude. I'm trying to understand the timeline. 4 months means this started before the cruise, which means you took our joint account money to finance a romantic getaway with your boyfriend. It wasn't like that. What was it like? She set down her glass, hard enough that wine sloshed over the rim. It was spontaneous. It was exciting. It was something I needed. And I wasn't. You're a logistics analyst, Michael. You track shipments. You optimize routes. You're safe. Safe, I said. Interesting word. Connor takes risks. He lives. He doesn't sit behind a computer screen calculating probabilities. He also doesn't pay your mortgage, or your car insurance, or the wine you're drinking. Her face flushed. I make 10 times what you make. And yet you still used our joint account for your affair. Funny how that works. She looked away, fingers tight around her glass. I didn't plan this. It just happened. Things don't just happen, Victoria. People make choices. You made yours. So what now? You want a divorce? You want to scream and throw things? No, I said calmly. I want you to understand something. What? You just made your first fatal error. She laughed. Actually laughed. Fatal error? This isn't one of your spreadsheets, Michael. This is real life. Exactly, I said. And in real life, actions have consequences. Are you threatening me? I'm stating facts. You're the one who taught me that business is about leverage and timing. I stood up, poured my coffee into the sink, and walked toward the bedroom. Where are you going? She called after me. To sleep in the guest room. I'll stay there until I figure out my next move. You're being dramatic. I stopped at the doorway. No, Victoria, I'm being strategic. There's a difference. You'll learn it soon enough. I closed the door behind me and lay on the guest bed, staring at the ceiling, mind already working through possibilities. She thought I was harmless, boring, safe. She had no idea what safe really meant. The next morning, I woke early and made breakfast. Toast, eggs, orange juice. Normal routine. Victoria came out of the bedroom looking surprised. You're still here, she said. Where else would I be? I don't know, I thought, after last night. I'm not going anywhere, I said. This is my home too. She poured coffee, watching me carefully. So what are we doing, Michael? Living our lives. You have your work. I have mine. That's it? What did you expect? A dramatic exit? A screaming match? I expected something. Sorry to disappoint. I finished my eggs and put the plate in the sink. I'll be home late tonight. Project deadline. She stood there, confused and slightly irritated. She wanted a reaction, wanted me to make this easier for her by being the villain. I wasn't going to give her that satisfaction. At work, I sat in my cubicle and opened a new spreadsheet. Not for the company, for me. Column 1, timeline. Every date I could remember from the past 4 months. Every late night, every business trip, every excuse. Column 2, financial transactions. Every charge on our joint account that didn't make sense. Column 3, witnesses, the security guard, airport staff, anyone who'd seen them together. Column 4, documentation, flight records, hotel bookings, corporate calendars, all public information, all completely legal. I wasn't doing anything wrong, just organizing data, pattern recognition. It's what I did best. My phone buzzed. Text from Victoria. Jade wants to have dinner with us this weekend. Try to be pleasant. Jade Remington, Victoria's work friend, the one who'd organized the cruise, the one who probably knew everything. I texted back, "Sure, looking forward to it." Let them think I was clueless. Let them relax. Meanwhile, I kept building my spreadsheet, adding details, finding patterns, connecting dots. By the end of the day, I had a complete picture of their affair. Not suspicions, facts. And facts were weapons. That weekend, Jade came over with a bottle of expensive champagne and a smile that didn't reach her eyes. She was a PR strategist, professional liar. Everything about her was calculated. "Michael," she said, hugging me like we were old friends. "So good to see you." "You too, Jade." Victoria had ordered takeout, Thai food. We sat around the coffee table, Jade talking about work drama, office politics, the usual noise. Then she leaned forward, champagne glass in hand. "So, Victoria told me you two are having some challenges." I looked at Victoria. She stared at her pad thai. "Did she?" I said. "It's normal," Jade continued. "Every couple goes through rough patches. The key is communication and excitement. You have to keep things fresh." "Fresh," I repeated. "Exactly. Victoria's a CEO. She needs stimulation, challenge, passion. And I don't provide that." "I didn't say that." Jade smiled. "But maybe you could try harder. Take her somewhere exciting, surprise her, be spontaneous." I set down my fork. "Like Connor Blake?" The room went silent. Jade's smile froze. Victoria's fork clattered against her plate. "What?" Jade said carefully. "Connor Blake, ship captain. Victoria's business partner. And apparently her boyfriend. That kind of exciting?" Victoria stood up abruptly. "Michael?" "No, it's fine," I said calmly. "Jade's right. I should be more spontaneous, more exciting, more like the guy who's been sleeping with my wife for 4 months." Jade looked at Victoria, then back at me. "I think maybe I should go." "Probably a good idea," I said. She grabbed her purse and left without another word. The door clicked shut. Victoria turned on me. "Why would you do that?" "Do what? Tell the truth? Humiliate me in front of my friend?" "Your friend knew. She probably encouraged it." "That's not—" "Spare me, Victoria. I'm done pretending. You want excitement? You got it. Let's see how exciting your life gets now." I walked to the guest room and locked the door. Behind me, I heard glass shatter. Victoria had thrown her champagne flute against the wall. Good. Let her be angry. Angry people made mistakes, and I was counting on that. The next morning, I went to the bank. Our joint account had been open for 6 years. My name was on it. Equal access. Completely legal. I transferred my half to a new personal account. Not a penny more. Just exactly what I'd contributed over the years, including my portion of shared expenses. Then I removed my direct deposit authorization and changed all my personal billing to the new account. By the time Victoria woke up, our financial lives were separated. I left a note on the kitchen counter. "Check the joint account. You'll see I took only what was mine. From now on, you pay your expenses. I'll pay mine. Seems fair." I went to work before she could respond. My phone exploded with texts around 10. "What did you do?" "You can't just take money like that. This is financial manipulation. Call me right now." I didn't call. Instead, I sent one message. "Joint account means joint ownership. I took my half. You have yours. Math is simple." She called anyway. I let it go to voicemail. Then I blocked her number for the workday and focused on my actual job. At lunch, I got a call from an unknown number. "Michael Horrell?" A man's voice, deep, irritated. "Who's this?" "Connor Blake. We need to talk." "Do we?" "Meet me at the marina, Pier 7, 1 hour." "I'm at work." "Then come after. 5 o'clock, don't make me come find you." He hung up. I smiled. This was moving faster than expected. The marina smelled like salt water and expensive boats. Connor stood at the end of Pier 7, arms crossed, looking like he was posing for a cologne ad. I walked up slowly, hands in pockets. "You wanted to talk?" I said. "You're causing problems," he said. "Victoria's stressed. She made a mistake calling me earlier, crying about money." "Did she?" "Look, man, I don't know what game you're playing, but it needs to stop. You're her husband. Act like it. Be supportive." I laughed. Couldn't help it. "Something funny?" Connor stepped closer. "Yeah, you. Standing here telling me to be supportive while you're sleeping with my wife. That's different." "How?" "She needs something you can't give her." "Adventure? Excitement? Rashes?" His expression flickered, just for a second, but I caught it. "What are you talking about?" he said. "Nothing. Just making conversation." "You're trying to mess with her head. With us. It's not going to work." "Us," I repeated. "That's interesting. So you're a couple now?" "We care about each other." "Enough to leave your other girlfriends?" "Because I've been doing research. You're quite popular on those cruise ships. Customer reviews mention you by name. Very attentive service." His jaw clenched. "You don't know what you're talking about." "I know Victoria came back from that cruise with a skin condition she's been hiding. I know she's been making calls to dermatology clinics. I know she's terrified." Connor's face went pale. "Did you tell her it was low risk?" I asked. "Did you promise her it was nothing serious? How many other passengers did you promise that to?" "You're insane." "No, I'm observant. There's a difference." He grabbed my collar. "You need to shut your mouth." "Or what? You'll hit me, in public, in front of all these boat owners with their phones?" I gestured around. Several people were watching us now. Connor released me, breathing hard. "This isn't over." "You're right," I said. "It's not." I walked away, leaving him standing there, fists clenched, face red with rage and something else. Fear. That night, Victoria was waiting when I got home. She looked terrible. Makeup couldn't quite hide the redness around her jawline. "Connor called me," she said. "He said you threatened him." "I didn't threaten anyone. We had a conversation." "About what?" "His hobbies, his work, his health history." She wrapped her arms around herself. "What did he tell you?" "Nothing. But you just confirmed everything." Her eyes widened. "Michael, how long have you known?" "Known what?" "That he gave you something. Something you're trying to hide from your board, from your PR team, from everyone." She sat down hard on the couch. "It's not serious. The doctor said it's treatable. But it's visible and embarrassing, and it came from him. He didn't know. Or he didn't care. Which one makes you feel better?" She pressed her hands to her face. "I can't deal with this right now. The board is asking questions about my relationship with Connor. Someone sent an anonymous complaint about conflict of interest." "Really?" I kept my voice neutral. "That's unfortunate. Did you do that?" "Me? I don't even know who's on your board." "Lie. I knew every name. I'd researched them all. But I hadn't sent anything. Yet." "This is falling apart," she whispered. "Everything's falling apart." "Then maybe you should have thought about consequences before you started this." "I need you," she said suddenly. "I need you to help me fix this." "Why would I do that?" "Because we're married, because you love me." "Loved," I corrected. Past tense. You made sure of that. "Michael, please." "No," I said. "You made your choice. You chose excitement over stability, Connor over me. Now you live with it." I went to the guest room and locked the door, leaving her crying on the couch. That I should have felt guilty. I didn't. I felt powerful. Jade Remington called me 3 days later. Her voice was tight, professional, dangerous. "We need to meet," she said. "Why?" "Because you're causing damage, Michael, to Victoria, to her reputation, to people's careers." "I haven't done anything." "Really, because suddenly the board is investigating her relationship with Connor Blake. Suddenly there are questions about expense reports. Suddenly her leadership is being questioned." "Sounds like a management problem." "This is serious." "Then maybe Victoria should hire better PR." Silence on the line. Then, "Starbucks on 5th, tomorrow morning, 8 a.m. Be there." She hung up. I showed up at 7:55. Jade was already waiting, looking sharp in a black suit. Her expression was pure business. "Sit," she said. I sat. She slid a folder across the table. "This is what we're dealing with. Anonymous complaints to the board, screenshots of Victoria and Connor at various locations, expense reports highlighted with discrepancies. Someone is building a case against her." "And you think it's me?" "Is it?" I opened the folder. Everything inside was accurate. But it wasn't my work. "This is thorough," I said. "Professional. Whoever did this knows corporate procedure." "That doesn't answer my question. I didn't send this, but I'm not surprised someone did." "Why?" "Because your friend was sloppy. She used company resources for personal relationships. She created conflicts of interest. She got careless." Jade leaned forward. "You need to fix this." "How?" "Tell the board you support her. Tell them it's all a misunderstanding. Tell them whatever they need to hear." I laughed. "Why would I do that?" "Because if she goes down, you go down too. Community property state, remember? Her reputation affects your assets." "I don't have assets. She does." "You're married, legally entangled. You can't just walk away clean. Watch me." Jade's expression hardened. "You're making a mistake. Victoria has power, connections, resources. You're just a logistics analyst. And you're just a PR strategist who's about to lose her biggest client." I stood up. "Thanks for the coffee." I left her sitting there, folder open, face tight with frustration. Outside, I pulled out my phone and sent one carefully worded email to Victoria's board secretary. Not an accusation, just a question. "As a concerned spouse, I'm wondering about the company's policy regarding executive relationships with vendor partners. Could you point me toward the ethics documentation?" Completely reasonable, completely innocent, completely devastating. That night, Connor showed up at our apartment building. I saw him from the window, pacing near his car, phone pressed to his ear. I went downstairs. "Looking for someone?" I asked. He spun around. "You. I'm looking for you." "Well, you found me." "You need to stop whatever you're doing. Victoria's career is on the line." "That's her problem." "It's your problem, too. You're her husband." In name only, she made that clear. Connor stepped closer. "You think you're smart. You think you're playing some game, but you're out of your depth." "Am I?" "I've been dealing with difficult people my whole life. Passengers who complain, crew members who challenge me, corporate bureaucrats who think they're important. You're just another obstacle." "And how do you usually handle obstacles?" "I remove them," I smiled. "Is that a threat?" "It's a promise." "Then let me make you a promise too. Every move you make against me, I'll document. Every threat, every contact, every attempt at intimidation, and I'll use it." "Use it for what?" "To destroy you. Professionally, publicly, completely." He laughed. "With what?" "You have nothing." "I have the security footage from Victoria's building. The guard who sees you every day. I have expense reports, flight records, credit card statements, and most importantly, I have patience." His smile faded. "You're a ship captain," I continued. "Your entire career depends on reputation. One complaint about ethics violations, one hint of scandal, one passenger lawsuit about inappropriate conduct, and you're done. The cruise industry doesn't forgive." "You can't prove anything." "I don't have to prove it. I just have to suggest it. PR works both ways, Connor. Ask Jade." His hand shot out and grabbed my jacket. "You smug little." A door opened behind us. Mrs. Patterson from 3B walked out with her dog. She looked at us, frowned, and pulled out her phone. Connor released me immediately, stepping back, hands up. "Evening, Mrs. Patterson," I said calmly. "Just having a conversation with a friend." She didn't look convinced, but continued walking her dog. Connor waited until she was gone. "This isn't over." "You keep saying that, but you never follow through. Maybe that's your real problem. All talk, no strategy." I walked back into the building, leaving him standing in the parking lot, shaking with rage. Upstairs, I watched from the window as he drove away, tires screeching. Then I called the building manager and requested the parking lot security footage for the past hour. "Standard procedure after an altercation," I explained. "Just being cautious." They sent it to my email within 20 minutes. I saved it in 3 different locations. Evidence was everything. Victoria came home late that night. She looked exhausted. Her makeup was smudged. The rash on her jaw was visible even in dim light. "The board suspended me," she said quietly, "pending investigation." "I'm sorry," I said, and meant it. Not for her, for the part of me that once loved her. "Connor won't return my calls. Jade says I need to distance myself from both of you, from everyone." Probably good advice. "I'm pregnant, Michael." I stopped. "What?" "I found out yesterday. I'm pregnant." "Is it?" "I don't know. Could be yours. Could be his. I was with both of you during that window." I sat down slowly. "Does he know?" "I told him this morning. He said it's not his problem. He said I need to handle it." "Handle it?" His words. We sat in silence. The apartment felt enormous and empty. I made a mistake, she finally said. A huge mistake. And now I'm losing everything. Yes, I said. You are. Is there any way to fix this? Fix what? Your career? Your reputation? Us? Any of it. I looked at her. Really looked at her. The woman I'd married 6 years ago was gone. In her place was someone I didn't recognize. Someone who'd gambled everything on excitement and lost. No, I said. There's no fixing this. There's only moving forward. What does that mean? It means you need to figure out what you want. The career, the baby, the future, and I need to figure out if I'm part of any of it. Are you? I don't know yet, but Victoria? Yeah? Whatever happens next, you earned it. Every consequence, every loss, every moment of pain. You earned all of it. I left her sitting in the dark living room and went to bed in the guest room, door locked, mind already planning the next move. Because this wasn't over, not even close. The board investigation took 2 weeks. During that time, Victoria spiraled. She stopped going to work, stopped answering calls, spent hours on the couch staring at nothing. Connor had gone silent. No calls, no texts, no dramatic appearances. Jade sent one message. I can't represent you anymore. Legal says it's a conflict. I'm sorry. Victoria showed me the message with shaking hands. Everyone's abandoning me, she said. You abandoned yourself first, I replied. She didn't argue. I, meanwhile, continued my normal routine. Work, gym, groceries, like nothing had changed. Because for me, nothing had. I'd already grieved the marriage, already accepted the end. I was just waiting for everyone else to catch up. The board called me in for a deposition. They wanted my perspective on Victoria's relationship with Connor Blake and any potential conflicts of interest. I sat across from 3 executives and a corporate lawyer. They asked careful questions. Were you aware of your wife's relationship with Captain Blake? Yes. For how long? Approximately 4 months. Did she disclose this relationship to you? Not initially. I discovered it independently. How did you discover it? I saw them together at her office, then at the airport, then verified it through publicly available information. What kind of information? Flight records, credit card statements from our joint account, cruise ship manifests, all legal, all accessible. The lawyer made notes. Did your wife use company resources for this relationship? She used our joint personal account, which included her company salary. Whether she used direct company resources, you'd have to ask her. Did she ever mention Captain Blake in a professional context? Frequently. She said he was a valuable partner, that his ships were essential to the company's cruise logistics division. Did you ever suspect inappropriate conduct? I suspected exactly what was happening, an affair that created conflicts of interest and compromised her judgment. They asked more questions. I answered them all truthfully. No embellishments, no opinions, just facts. When it was over, the lawyer shook my hand. Thank you for your cooperation, Mr. Horrell. You've been very helpful. Just telling the truth, I said. I left the building and went back to work, knowing I'd just handed them everything they needed to destroy Victoria's career. And I felt nothing. Connor finally resurfaced 3 days later. He cornered me in the parking garage at my office building. Must have waited for hours. You testified against her, he said. I answered questions truthfully. You destroyed her. She destroyed herself. I just confirmed what everyone already suspected. He moved fast, grabbed me by the collar, slammed me against a concrete pillar. Pain shot through my back. You're going to regret this, he hissed. Am I? He pulled back his fist. I didn't flinch. Go ahead, I said. Hit me, right here, in front of all these cameras. I pointed up. Security cameras covered every angle. Connor followed my gaze. His fist trembled. One swing, I continued. One assault charge. One more piece of evidence that you're unstable and dangerous. Your career is already hanging by a thread. Want to finish it? He released me slowly. You're a coward, hiding behind cameras and lawyers. I'm strategic. There's a difference. You solve problems with intimidation. I solve them with information. Victoria loved you. She trusted you. And she betrayed me. She lied to me. She used me. Now she's paying for it. You're supposed to be her husband. I was, until she decided Connor Blake was more interesting. How's that working out for her now? His face twisted with rage and something else. Guilt, maybe, or fear. She's pregnant, he said quietly. I know. It might be mine. I know that too. Don't you care? About a baby that might belong to the man who tried to humiliate me. Not particularly. You're heartless. No, I'm finished. There's a difference. I walked away, leaving him standing in the parking garage, shoulders slumped, looking like a man who'd finally realized he'd made a catastrophic mistake. That night, Victoria was waiting at the apartment with papers. Divorce, she said flatly. My lawyer drew them up. I'm not going to fight you on anything. You can have whatever you want. I looked at the documents. Standard dissolution, equal division of assets, no alimony. What about the baby? I asked. I'm not keeping it. I can't. Not with everything falling apart. Does Connor know? He doesn't get a vote. He made it clear this isn't his problem. And it's not mine either. She flinched. I know. So why are you telling me? Because you're the only person who hasn't completely abandoned me, even though I deserve it. I set down the papers. I haven't abandoned you, Victoria. I've just stopped protecting you from the consequences of your choices. Is there a difference? Yes. Abandoning you would mean I don't care what happens. But I do care. I care that you learn from this. I care that you understand what you destroyed. I care that you never do this to anyone else. I've lost everything, Michael. And my career, my relationship, my reputation. Oh, what more do you want? I want you to stop being the victim. You're not the victim. You're the architect of your own destruction. She started crying. Real tears. Not manipulation, just pain. I'm sorry, she sobbed. I'm so sorry. I know, I said. But sorry doesn't fix anything. It just means you finally understand what you broke. I signed the divorce papers and left them on the table. Then I packed my things and walked out. No dramatic exit, no final speech. Just a quiet departure from a life that had stopped being mine months ago. Outside, the night air felt clean, clear, like I'd been holding my breath for years and finally remembered how to exhale. I drove to a motel and checked in for the night. Tomorrow, I'd find an apartment, start over, build something new. But tonight, I just wanted to sleep without locks on the door, without fear, without her. The company officially terminated Victoria's position 2 weeks after my deposition. They offered her a severance package in exchange for her silence and immediate resignation. She took it, had no choice. The official statement cited restructuring and strategic realignment. Everyone knew what it really meant. Connor Blake was quietly reassigned to administrative duties on land. No more ship captaincy. No more passenger contact. The cruise line didn't fire him outright, but they'd buried him in paperwork until he eventually quit. Jade Remington distanced herself completely, suddenly posting on social media about toxic relationships and knowing your worth. Subtle, professional, effective. I moved into a one-bedroom apartment across town. Small, quiet, mine. Victoria tried calling a few times. I didn't answer. We had lawyers for communication now. Everything official. Everything documented. I thought it was over. I was wrong. Connor showed up at my new apartment on a Tuesday night. I don't know how he found my address. Didn't matter. He was there, pounding on the door. I opened it, but kept the chain lock engaged. What do you want? I asked. To talk? We have nothing to talk about. Please. His voice cracked. Please, man. Just 5 minutes. I studied his face. He looked terrible. Unshaven. Dark circles under his eyes. Defeated. Against my better judgment, I opened the door. He came in slowly. Hands visible, non-threatening. I lost everything, he said. My position, my reputation, my future in the industry. I'm aware. Because of you. Because of your choices. I just made sure people knew about them. He sat down heavily on my couch. I didn't force Victoria into anything. She wanted this as much as I did. And that makes it better? No, but it makes us both responsible. True, and you're both paying for it. She's destroyed, Michael, completely destroyed. She can't find work. Every company she applies to knows what happened. She's blacklisted. That's unfortunate. Don't you feel anything? Any guilt? Any remorse? I thought about it. Really thought about it. No, I said honestly. I feel relief. I feel free. I feel like I finally stopped being invisible. So this was all about revenge. No, this was about consequences, about accountability, about making sure that actions have meaning. You're destroying people's lives. I'm not destroying anything. I'm just stopping protecting them from their own mistakes. Connor stood up. You know what's funny? I actually respected you for a while. The way you stayed calm, the way you outmaneuvered everyone. I thought you were smarter than me. I am smarter than you. But you're also colder, more ruthless. You don't care who gets hurt as long as you win. And you cared? When you were sleeping with my wife? When you were lying to her about your health? When you abandoned her the moment things got complicated? He had no answer. Ah, that's what I thought, I said. We're both selfish, Connor. The difference is I'm honest about it. He moved toward the door, then stopped. Victoria's pregnant, he said. You know that, right? She told me she wasn't keeping it. She changed her mind. She's keeping the baby. My stomach dropped. Why? Because she has nothing else. No career, no relationship, no future. The baby is all she has left. That's insane. Maybe, but that's what she's doing. Is it yours? We don't know. Won't know until it's born. But she wants me involved. Wants me to be part of this. And what do you want? I want to go back 6 months and make different choices. But that's not an option, so I'm trying to do the right thing now. By coming here and telling me this, what am I supposed to do with that information? I don't know. Maybe nothing, maybe something. I just thought you should know. He left, closing the door quietly behind him. I stood in my empty apartment, processing this new information, feeling the first real crack in my armor. Victoria was keeping the baby, a baby that might be mine, a baby I'd already decided wasn't my problem, but problems have a way of becoming yours whether you want them to or not. I called my lawyer the next morning. If Victoria has the baby and it's mine, what are my legal obligations? Child support, minimum, potentially custody arrangements if she pursues it. And if it's not mine? You'd need a paternity test, but if you're legally married when the child is born, you're presumed to be the father regardless of biology. Even if we're separated? Even then, you need to finalize the divorce before the birth, or you're automatically on the hook. How long does divorce take? In this state? 6 months minimum. Could be longer if contested. I did the math. Victoria was about 3 months along. 6 months would put us past the birth date. So I'm trapped, I said. Not trapped, just legally obligated, unless she voluntarily names someone else as the father. She won't. She's desperate. Then you need to decide what kind of relationship you want with this child. If it's yours, if it's not. If it matters. It matters. Then act accordingly. I hung up and stared at the wall, realizing that my carefully constructed revenge plan had a massive blind spot. I'd accounted for everything except biology. Victoria called me that afternoon. I answered. Connor told you, she said. Yeah. I'm keeping it, Michael. I know that complicates things for you. For both of us. I don't expect anything from you. If it's yours, we'll figure it out. If it's his, you're free. And if we don't know, then we raise it with uncertainty until we can test. That's insane, Victoria. Maybe, but it's where we are. Silence on the line. Why are you really keeping it? I asked. Because I have nothing else. Because maybe this is my chance to do something right. Because I don't want to be completely alone. A baby isn't a solution to loneliness. I know, but it's a reason to keep going. What about Connor? He says he'll help. Financially, logistically. But he doesn't want a relationship. With me or the baby, he's making that clear. So you'll be alone anyway. Yes, unless what? Unless you decide to be involved, if it's yours. Victoria, I don't even know if I want to see you again, let alone raise a child with you. I understand, but you have 6 months to decide. After that, biology will decide for you. She hung up. I sat in my apartment, surrounded by half-unpacked boxes, and realized that revenge was a lot cleaner in theory than in practice. In theory, you destroy your enemies and walk away victorious. In practice, you're left holding pieces of lives, including your own, and trying to figure out what comes next. I tried to focus on work, on normalcy, on building my new life. But Victoria's pregnancy haunted me, not because I wanted her back, but because somewhere in that situation was potentially my child, a child I'd already written off, a child I'd already decided wasn't my problem, except it was. My mother called on Sunday. We talked every week. She asked how I was doing. Fine, I lied. Michael, I'm your mother. I know when you're lying. It's complicated. It always is. What happened? I told her everything. The affair, the divorce, the pregnancy, the uncertainty. She listened without interrupting. When I finished, she said, What are you going to do? I don't know. Do you want to be a father? Not like this. That's not what I asked. I thought about it. Really thought about it. I don't know, I repeated. Maybe. if circumstances were different. Circumstances are never perfect, Michael. You work with what you have. She betrayed me, Mom. She destroyed our marriage. I know, and that's between you and her. But a child didn't betray you. A child is innocent. It might not even be mine. And it might be. Can you live with not knowing? Can you live with walking away and wondering for the rest of your life? I don't know. Then you need to figure it out. Because in 6 months, that decision gets made whether you're ready or not. She was right. I hated it, but she was right. I met Victoria at a coffee shop 2 weeks later. Neutral ground, public place, safe. She looked better, healthier. The rash had faded. She'd gained a little weight. Pregnancy was starting to show. Thanks for meeting me, she said. What do you want? To talk about logistics, about the future, about what happens next. Okay. I've been seeing a therapist, working through everything, trying to understand why I made the choices I made. And what did you learn? That I was selfish, that I took you for granted, that I confused excitement with happiness and destroyed something real in the process. Good. You're learning. I'm trying to be better, Michael, for myself, for this baby. What about Connor? He's helping financially, but that's it. He doesn't want to be a father. Says he's not ready, which is code for he's scared. Smart man. She smiled sadly. You're both scared. I'm not scared. I'm realistic. This baby might not be mine. And even if it is, I don't know if I can co-parent with someone I don't trust. I understand. But I need to know if you're in or out. I can't live in uncertainty. We won't know for 6 months. I know, but I need to know if you'll be there for the paternity test. If you'll step up if it's yours. I need to know I'm not doing this completely alone. I studied her face. She was serious, vulnerable. This wasn't manipulation. This was desperation. If it's mine, I'll be involved, I said finally. I won't pretend to be thrilled about the circumstances, but I won't abandon my child. Relief washed over her face. Thank you. But Victoria? Yeah? This doesn't mean we're getting back together. This doesn't mean I forgive you. This means I'm doing the right thing for a kid who didn't ask for any of this. I know. That's enough. We talked logistics, doctor appointments, financial arrangements, custody possibilities. It was businesslike, practical, emotionless, exactly what it needed to be. Connor called me a week later. Victoria told me you're involved now, he said. If it's mine, yes. And if it's mine, then it's your problem. But either way, I'm going to know. Fair enough. Why are you calling, Connor? He was quiet for a moment. To apologize. For what? For everything. For the affair. For the disrespect. For thinking I was better than you. I was wrong. Yes, you were. I lost everything because of this. My career, my reputation, my future, and I deserved it. Finally, something we agree on. But I don't want a kid to lose a father because of my mistakes. If it's mine, I'll step up. I'll be there. Not for Victoria. For the kid. Good. Kids need fathers. Even fathers who are screw-ups? Especially those. At least they'll know what not to do. He laughed, bitter, exhausted, real. You know what's funny? He said. I thought I was living. Thought I was grabbing life by the throat. Turns out I was just being an idiot. Most people don't figure that out until it's too late. Is it too late for me? I don't know. That depends on what you do next. What should I do? Grow up. Take responsibility. Stop blaming other people for your choices. And if that kid is yours, be a father. Not a weekend visitor. A real father. And if it's yours, then I'll do the same, and you'll be free. I don't feel free, Michael. I feel trapped. Welcome to adulthood. It's uncomfortable. We hung up. I felt something unexpected. Sympathy, not forgiveness, not friendship, but sympathy. Connor was an idiot, but he was trying to be better. That counted for something. The months passed slowly. I focused on work, on my apartment, on preparing for a possibility I wasn't sure I wanted. Victoria sent updates, ultrasound photos, doctor reports. She was having a boy. I looked at those photos and felt nothing, then everything, then nothing again. Emotional whiplash. I bought a book on fatherhood, read 3 chapters and put it down. Too soon, too uncertain, too real. My mother called regularly, checking in, making sure I was okay. Are you ready? She asked. No. Good. That means you're taking it seriously. What if I'm a terrible father? Then you'll learn. That's what parenting is. Constant learning and constant failure and constant trying again. That sounds exhausting. It is. but it's also the most important thing you'll ever do. If it's mine. Even if it's not, Michael. Because you chose to show up. That makes you a father in the ways that matter. I didn't believe her then, but I would. The baby came early. Victoria went into labor at 37 weeks. She called me from the hospital. It's happening, she said, voice tight with pain. I'm on my way. I drove through red lights and traffic, heart pounding, mind blank. Connor was already there when I arrived. He looked as terrified as I felt. She's asking for you, he said. Both of us. No, you. She wants you in the room. I looked at him. Why me? Because you were her husband, because you showed up, because despite everything, you didn't abandon her. I went into the delivery room. Victoria was on the bed, sweating, breathing hard, looking more vulnerable than I'd ever seen her. You came, she gasped. Of course. I'm scared. I know, me too. Will you stay? Yes. I held her hand through the contractions, through the pushing, through the screaming and the pain and the chaos. And then he was there, small, red, crying, perfect. The doctor placed him on Victoria's chest. She cried. I cried. Even the nurses looked emotional. He's beautiful, Victoria whispered. Yeah, I managed. He is. Do you want to hold him? I did. I took that tiny human in my arms and looked at his face and knew, instantly and completely, that nothing else mattered. Not the affair, not the betrayal, not the revenge. Just him. We need a name, Victoria said. James, I said without thinking, after my grandfather. James Horrell. If he's mine. He's yours, Michael. I can see it in his face. He has your eyes. I looked down. She was right. He had my eyes. But we wouldn't know for sure until the test. The paternity test took 2 weeks, longest 2 weeks of my life. I visited the hospital every day, held James, changed diapers, learned how to swaddle and feed and soothe. Connor visited too. He looked at James with longing and fear, wanting to be involved but terrified of the responsibility. Victoria watched us both, exhausted and emotional, and trying to navigate impossible circumstances. Whatever happens, she said one night, I want you both in his life. Even if he's not Connor's, I asked. Even then, he needs good men around him, men who show up. You're both showing up. Connor shifted uncomfortably. I don't know if I'm good. Then become good. For him. We sat in silence, 3 broken people trying to be better for one innocent child. The results came back on a Tuesday. I opened the envelope alone in my apartment. My hands shook. Inside was one simple sentence. Probability of paternity, 99.9%. James was mine, completely, biologically, undeniably mine. I sat on my couch and cried. Not sad tears, not happy tears, just overwhelming tears. I was a father. I called Victoria. I know, she said. They sent me the results, too. He's mine. Yes. I don't know how to do this. None of us do. We'll figure it out. What about Connor? He wants to be involved anyway. As an uncle figure. He says James needs good role models. And you're okay with that? I'm okay with anything that helps this boy grow up loved and supported. We talked logistics. Custody, visitation, support. It was practical, necessary, forward-looking. The revenge was over. The real work was just beginning. I moved closer to Victoria's apartment. Not in with her, never again. But close enough to be there every day. I took parenting classes, read books, joined support groups for single fathers. Connor helped when he could. He was better than I expected. Patient, gentle, committed. We'd never be friends. But we were allies. For James. Victoria rebuilt her career slowly. Consulting work, freelance projects. Nothing like her old position, but enough to survive. She was humble now. Careful. Different. The affair had broken her, but she'd used those pieces to build something new. Jade Remington sent Victoria a message 6 months after James was born. I'm sorry for abandoning you. I was protecting myself. That was cowardly. I hope you're okay. Victoria didn't respond. Some bridges, once burned, stay burned. James grew, smiled, laughed, started recognizing faces. I spent hours just watching him sleep, amazed that something so perfect came from something so broken. Victoria caught me one night. You're a good father, she said softly. I'm trying. That's all any of us can do. Do you regret it? Everything that happened? Every day, but I can't change it. I can only move forward. Are you happy? She thought about it. I'm content. I'm present. I'm learning. That's enough. Good. We stood together watching James sleep. Two people who'd destroyed each other learning to build something new. Not love, not romance, not even friendship. Just co-parents. Doing their best. Showing up. It wasn't the ending I'd imagined when this started, but it was enough. James's first birthday arrived faster than seemed possible. We threw a small party. Victoria's parents came. My mother flew in. Connor brought gifts. Jade showed up uninvited. I know I wasn't welcome, she said to Victoria, but I wanted to say congratulations. You've done something remarkable here. Victoria was polite but distant. Thanks for coming. Jade tried talking to me. You know, I misjudged you completely. I thought you were just boring. Turns out you were strategic. I was hurt, I corrected. There's a difference. Is there? Yes. Hurt people react. Strategic people plan. I did both. And now? Now I'm just a father. That's enough strategy for anyone. She left early. We didn't see her again. Connor started dating someone new, a nurse from the mainland. She was kind, patient, good with James. I'm trying to be better, he told me one day. Trying to be the kind of man who deserves good things. Keep trying, I said. It's working. You forgive me? No. But I don't hate you anymore. That's progress. I'll take it. We weren't friends, but we weren't enemies. We were something in between. Two men who'd made mistakes and were trying to do right by a child. Victoria started dating too, carefully, quietly, a lawyer she'd met through consulting work. He knows everything, she told me, about the affair, about Connor, about us, and he still wants to try. Good. You deserve a second chance. Do I? Everyone deserves a second chance. Few people earn it. You're earning it. She smiled, really smiled. First genuine smile I'd seen from her in years. Thank you, Michael. For what? For showing up, for being the father James needs, for not letting me off easy but also not destroying me completely. I thought about destroying you, I admitted. For a while, that's all I wanted. Why didn't you? Because destruction is easy. Building something after destruction is hard. I chose hard. I'm glad you did. Me too. My company promoted me, senior logistics director. Better pay, better hours, more flexibility for James. I moved into a bigger apartment, 2 bedrooms, one for me, one for James's weekend visits. I hung his drawings on the fridge, kept his toys organized, learned all his favorite songs. Being a father was harder than any revenge plot I'd ever conceived. It was also infinitely more rewarding. Victoria's lawyer turned serious. They moved in together after a year of dating. He was good to James, patient, never tried to replace me, just added to James's support system. He proposed, Victoria told me. I said yes. Congratulations. You're okay with this? Victoria, you're allowed to be happy. You're allowed to move on. We both are. Have you? Moved on? Yeah. I'm getting there, slowly. But I'm not looking for a relationship. James is enough for now. You're lonely, though. Sometimes, but that's okay. Loneliness is better than settling. You always were smarter than me. No, just more patient. We stood watching James play with his toys, building towers and knocking them down, laughing each time they crashed. He's going to be okay, Victoria said quietly, despite everything we put him through. He won't remember any of this. He'll just remember being loved. That's all that matters. Yes, it is. Connor moved inland, took a job with a shipping company, management position, desk work, stable hours. I miss the ships, he admitted, but I don't miss the person I was on them. Growth is uncomfortable, I said. Is that what this is? Growth? That's exactly what it is. He still visited James regularly, brought him books and puzzles, taught him about boats and navigation, and James called him Uncle Connor. It fit. Do you ever wonder what would have happened if we'd all made different choices? Connor asked one day. Every day, I said honestly, but I try not to dwell on it. Can't change the past. Do you think Victoria and I would have worked out? No. That fast? You wanted excitement. She wanted stability disguised as excitement. Neither of you wanted the work of a real relationship. And you did? I thought I did. Turned out I just wanted to be seen. Are you now? Seen? I looked at James playing nearby. Yeah. By the person who matters most. Connor nodded. He's lucky to have you. I'm lucky to have him. My mother visited for Christmas. She held James for hours, singing old lullabies, telling stories. You've done well, she told me. I'm proud. I made mistakes too, Mom. I hurt people. I was vindictive. You were human. Hurt people, but then you chose better. That's what matters. I don't know if I chose better or just got lucky. Both. Life is always both. She watched me with James, watched how gentle I was, how patient, how present. Your father would be proud too, she said softly. I hadn't thought about my dad in years. He'd passed when I was 20. Heart attack. Sudden. You think? I know. He always said the measure of a man isn't what he does when things are easy. It's what he does when everything falls apart. Everything fell apart. And you didn't. You bent, you broke, but you rebuilt. That's strength. I held James closer, feeling the weight of her words, the weight of responsibility, the weight of love. It was heavy, but I could carry it. The board called me in 18 months after Victoria's termination. I assumed it was about benefits or paperwork. I was wrong. We have a proposition, the chairman said. We've reviewed your role in the investigation. Your testimony was precise, professional, invaluable. I just answered questions. You did more than that. You showed integrity. We want to offer you a position, Director of Logistics Operations, double your current salary, full benefits. I stared at them. That's Victoria's old territory. Was. Past tense. We need someone with your analytical skills and ethical standards. I accepted the position the next day. 3 months into the new role, Connor requested a meeting. His voice was urgent. They're investigating me, he said when we met. Corporate ethics. Someone filed a complaint about my conduct during my captain days. Who? Anonymous, but it's detailed. Passenger names, dates, everything. What do you need from me? Nothing. Just wanted you to know. If they come asking questions, tell them the truth. The investigation concluded weeks later. The complaint came from Jade Remington, and one final attempt at chaos. It backfired. The cruise line found her allegations unsubstantiated and threatened legal action. She disappeared from our lives completely. Then came the shareholders' meeting, 5 years after everything fell apart. Victoria attended as a consultant. Connor represented his shipping company. I was presenting quarterly reports. We were in the same room for the first time in months. I presented my logistics analysis. It was flawless. The board applauded. During the break, Connor approached me near the coffee station. Victoria joined us moments later. Crazy, isn't it? Connor said. All of us here. Professional, like nothing happened. Everything happened, I corrected. We just survived it. Victoria smiled. 5 years ago, we were destroying each other. And now we're just doing our jobs, I said. The meeting resumed. We took our seats. Different sections, different roles, different lives. I watched them from across the room. Victoria confident in her consulting presentation, Connor attentive during logistics discussions, both of them rebuilt, both functional, both present. My phone buzzed. Text from James's school, picture of his science project. First place ribbon. I smiled and put the phone away. After the meeting ended, I walked to the parking garage. Connor was waiting by his car. Got something for you, he said, handing me an envelope. Inside was a check. Substantial. What's this? All those joint account charges, the cruise, everything. I'm paying you back. With interest. Took 5 years to save it. Connor, you don't have to. Yeah, I do. Put it in James's college fund. He got in his car and drove away before I could respond. I stood holding the check, feeling something shift. Closure, maybe. Or just the end of a very long chapter. That evening, Victoria called. Connor told me about the check. Yeah. Michael, I need to say something. Thank you for not destroying me completely when you could have, for holding me accountable, for forcing me to become better. You did that yourself. Maybe, but you showed me I had to. We hung up. I picked up James from school. He was excited about his science ribbon. Daddy, guess what Mom said? What? She said when I'm older, she'll tell me the whole story about you and her and Uncle Connor. She said it's complicated, but has a happy ending. It does? Yeah, she said I'm the happy ending. I looked at my son. Perfect, innocent, unaware of the war that preceded him. You are, I said. You absolutely are. That night, I stood on my balcony after James fell asleep. The city stretched below, lights flickering like memories. Somewhere out there, Victoria was building her new life. Somewhere, Connor was doing the same. And I was here, in my apartment, with my son sleeping in the next room, director of the company that fired my ex-wife, father to the boy who saved us all from ourselves. The husband they didn't see coming had won, not through destruction, through patience, through strategy, through showing up when it mattered. I'd taken everything they tried to take from me and built something better. Victoria lost her career, found humility, rebuilt slowly. Connor lost his reputation, found accountability, became someone worthy of respect. I lost my marriage, found myself, gained everything that mattered. The guard's words echoed from 5 years ago. I see her husband every day. He'd been right. He did see her husband, just not me, not then. But now I stood in the position she'd lost, raising the son we'd created, living the life I'd earned. They thought I was harmless. They were wrong. I was the most dangerous kind of opponent, patient, strategic, and willing to let my enemies destroy themselves while I built my victory brick by brick. I walked inside, checked on James one final time, and went to bed. Tomorrow I had a board meeting. Quarterly projections, strategic initiatives, the work of a director, the life of a father, the victory of a man who played the long game and won.